Introduction to your brain structure. Let's start with the brain's basic structure. The brain is divided into three main parts. Cerebrum, the largest part of the brain, responsible for higher brain functions such as thought, action, and emotion. It is divided into two hemispheres, the left and right, which control the opposite sides of the body and bridged together. Cerebellum, located on the cerebrum, it plays a key role in coordinating movement and balance. It helps you maintain posture and perform precise movements, and a whole lot of other things. Brainstem. The brainstem connects the brain to the spinal cord and controls basic life functions such as breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. It's essential for regulating automatic process and alertness. Your brain's major structure can be looked at in three parts. Your forebrain, which is the most recent in evolutionary history. Your midbrain, which handles your emotional and communal language structures. And your hindbrain, which is your basic foundational, automatic, yet still accessible bodily activities. Things you can't control. Things like hunger, temperature, heart rate, brain functions. Each part of the brain has specialized functions. Frontal lobes, located at the front of the cerebrum, these are involved in decision-making, problem-solving, and controlling voluntary movements. Parietal lobes, positioned behind the frontal lobes, these process sensory information from the body, such as touch and temperature. Occipital lobes, found at the back of the cerebrum, these are primarily responsible for processing visual information. Temporal lobes, located on the side of the cerebrum, these handle auditory information and are crucial for memory formation. And modern neuroscience is actually showing us that they do other things as well. It's a higher-order complex sensory precept at our neocortical, the last tiny layer of cells grown at the end of our brain, the part that makes us human. That part is used to recompile all the lower level faculties of your brain's structure. So it's an organ, and this organ is operating kind of like a highly tuned instrument, the brain's communication network. The brain communicates through a complex network of neurons, the brain's messengers. Neurons send signals to each other via synapses, creating pathways that enable everything from reflexes to complex thought processes. Neurotransmitters, chemical messengers that transmit signals across synapses. Examples include dopamine and serotonin, which influence mood and behavior. Neural pathways, networks of neurons that connect different brain regions and facilitate communication. The brain has three main parts: the cerebrum, cerebellum, and brainstem. I prefer if you think about it more like your forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Each part of the brain has specific roles.
Specific predefined morphological attuned proclivities.
But we'll see in later videos that even if one of those areas goes offline, other areas of the brain will be reallocated to handle the functions. Except because of their structure, they end up
reinterpreting the sensory input or the perception input.
Or the perception model. So synesthesia being a specific example of how this can work, where people can see sounds or hear flavors or taste colors or a mix of and match of other bodily activities. Right. So the whole point of this was the simple fact that now everyone's starting to realize that we do live in a hologram and it is a matrix. Yeah, this has been known. This has been talked about by every major modern psychiatrist and psychologist in the last 150 years, except that we don't actually reference the depth in which they analyzed things, but they all recognize that for the most part, you are operating within your own little narrative, and your brain is the thing that's constructing it. But what every spiritual teaching gets you to is that, no, you are operating inside of a machine operation that is self-generating and emergent, and that activity isn't isolated outside of you, and it's not 100% you either. It's a mix and match of the activity between you and your environment that re-updates the gameplay that you're in, because you are a character in a world that your own material frame is simulating. You are operating within your own matrix. I learned 20 years ago that this thing is actually crystallized as language. So you live in a matrix of your own story, like an actual written language. So the words you use on a daily basis are indicators of the symbolic gameplay that you live. I'll leave it at that. Like and subscribe. I'm going to go through the brain first. I have to get you reoriented to what you are even experiencing, and the only way to get you there is to run you through the brain and then the body and then your experience of life and then the shared experience of life in order to get to the individual, where you can then start installing programs to update your world and gameplay. See you in the dark matter.